This is the plaintiff, Omari Hand. He says he hired the defendant to install a new heating air conditioning unit in his home. And as it turns out, the guy installed the wrong type and it doesn't work right. He's tried living with it, but it just doesn't do the job because his house is too big. The defendant refuses to correct his mistake, and he has no other choice but to sue him here and now for the $5,000 it's going to cost him to fix the problem. This is the defendant, Nathaniel Lovett. He says he did a great job for the plaintiff and installed a 2.5-ton unit, just like the one he previously had in his home. He never complained he had any cooling issues with the house. He just said he wanted a new unit to replace the old one, and that's what he gave him. End of story. He's accused of not cooling it.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant installed a bogus heating and air conditioning unit in his home, but the defendant says the job was A-OK. It's the case of cool down, dude.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Omari Hand?
Yes.
You are suing Nathaniel Lovett, your HVAC contractor, for $5,000, a statutory maximum in your state, because according to you, he botched the job at your home. Tell me what's going on.
Well, in September 2008, I purchased my property knowing that I needed a new AC unit. The unit in the property at the time was 21 years old. So we went out and got multiple quotes. All the quotes came back for a 3-ton unit. I have examples of those quotes.
Okay.
The final quote came from Nathaniel Lovett. It was reasonable, so we accepted him to do the job.
What size unit was he putting in?
We discussed 3-ton, but as far as documentation, when I went back to look at it, the size of the unit was not on the receipt.
You actually discussed with him 3-ton?
Yes.
And said, I want 3-ton?
Yes.
And his response to you was, I'm going to give you 3-ton?
He said he's going to do the job. Yes, he's going to come in there and replace the unit.
No, that was my question. Did he say, yes, I'm going to give you 3-ton?
To my recollection, yes.
You deny that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And it's nowhere in the written contract, right? In fact, nothing is in the written contract. It doesn't say 2.5-ton, doesn't say 3-ton.
It doesn't say anything.
It doesn't say what size. Why doesn't it say what size you're selling a person?
Because we just had a verbal agreement.
No, what are you talking about? You had a written contract. Why would you write everything but the size of the unit?
I didn't write it. I don't know.
Right, it was an oversight.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You weren't just trying to rip them off? Okay, because lots of times that side does that on purpose so that they can figure out what's cheapest and put that in there. So your side, the homeowner, needs to be very careful that everything that needs to be inside a contract is. All right. Now, let me see all of your quotes. And what I don't understand is why, if you have 2 or 3 quotes, all of which state a size, why do you get his quote and not make him specify a size?
Yeah, because after just having a few discussions, it's pretty much protocol for an AC specialist to know what size unit is adequate for the property.
And now let's talk about that a second. The size unit you had in there was 2.5-ton.
Yes.
Okay. Now, he does the job, and then you hit the summer.
Yes.
And what happens?
During the summer, it was where I really found out the unit was undersized because it wouldn't cool my property. So I called him to come out and look at it, and he actually tried boosting the fan power, something in that nature, but that was unsuccessful. So I called, frustrated at the time, I had other people come out and look at it. They basically told me 2 things. The system was not calibrated correctly, and it needed more Freon, and the biggest thing is that the unit was undersized. Further conversation, he says, yeah, as an AC specialist who's licensed, they're supposed to run manual J-load.
Who's saying that?
The AC specialist that came and looked at my unit.
Okay, do you have that in writing?
Yes, yes.
May I see that? All right, are you a licensed contractor?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever tell him you were a licensed contractor?
No, ma'am.
Does your business card have a license number on top?
It has my license number to handle Freon, my REPA license number. I am a technician.
Do you have the business card that he gave you?
Yes.
REPA license number, what's that?
Refrigeration license number.
As opposed to what?
That allows me to handle the Freon. In my county, I'm able to do AC and appliance repairs.
Air conditioning and household appliance service and repair. And it says, if we can't fix it, you don't pay. Did somebody cross that out or underline it?
He crossed it out.
He crossed it out? We just have new cards printed up. You actually got you don't pay. If we can't fix it, and then he crosses out, you don't pay.
It was old cards.
Yeah, it was. They're old cards. Is this license current? The REPA license?
Yes. Well, as long as you have a license in the county, which I do have a license in the county, I can do small appliance work.
Yeah, but that's not what you did. You were installing a new HVAC unit, which requires a different license. Okay. So you then have submitted to me emails from other companies that you had shopped it to after he did the job, where you're saying to them, can't I get away with a 2.5 because you're trying to get them to answer or whatever, so you have the evidence.
I was basically trying to find out.
Yeah. No, it's smart. If you email him and he thinks he's still got a chance of getting your business, he gave you the answer where he says, I would be lying to you if I said that you will be able to get by with a 2.5 ton. I think it will have a hard time keeping up, especially in the summer. The standards are constantly changing, Omari. It seems every year we get updates on our manual J load calculation program.
Yes.
All right. You have since learned and educated yourself that there is a way to calculate based on what, cubic foot?
Cubic feet, ceiling height, and windows.
Right.
It didn't make sense to me at the time, but it's clear as day now.
Yeah, I know. That's how litigation has a way of doing that. Yeah. Did you do any load calculations to figure out the size of the unit, or did you just replace the unit that was already there?
Well, I didn't do any kind of calculation because he didn't ask me what currently fits the house. Because the unit did not work and it had mold in it, he wanted the unit replaced.
Okay.
And I said, okay, I can replace it.
Is it protocol to do load calculations to determine, because do you know what manual J is?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what is it?
It's just how they calculate the difference. Say if you got a 10-foot ceiling versus an 8-foot ceiling.
Right. Okay. And did you, in fact, those calculations change over time, right?
They're not just set in stone.
Right. So if that's the case, then doesn't it behoove you before you put in an AC to maybe do some simple math and figure it out? What is required?
No, ma'am, but under the circumstances, I mean, normally a customer would tell you they're having problems or give you some kind of indication. He wouldn't even know he was having
problems, though, because the thing wasn't even working when he bought the house, right?
At all? I just moved in the house.
Right.
At the time I got the AC unit.
Yeah. All right. So then when you bring the problem up to him in an email and you say to him, I really need to fix this problem. What can we do? And then at one point you offer, what is it you offer?
I offer him to pay the difference between a 2.5 and a 3 ton, which was about $1,000, $1,200.
Okay.
And he just felt like he was just getting screwed. And
show me the other
his receipt.
Yes, my quote was something like 38, and his cheapest quote was like 53, 54.
Right. Okay. So he tells you, yeah, that's not a problem. You just have to pay the difference. And why wasn't that fair?
He never agreed on the difference, because if so, I would have paid that. I would have been done. You wouldn't even be seeing right now.
See, in your email to him, I see you saying, okay, I'll pay the 12. Hold on. Let's get the email and let's not guess. Okay. Let me just see the email. Okay, in here you say, if you're willing to take my current unit, give me half of what I paid to you for it, $1,747, and I pay you the installation of a new unit, $600. Which means you want him to install your unit for free and pay you and return $1,100. That's what this letter says.
No, the other scenario is me buying the unit from him for $4,000 more. What else?
He would give you credit for the original unit.
And I would have done that in a heartbeat.
And that's what you were trying to tell him?
That's what
and that's what you wanted? Wait a second.
That's exactly
what I was telling him. Let me hold on to that feeling. Because I love common sense. How about if we resolve this by doing exactly what you're saying you wish he would have done?
I honestly don't even want him in my house anymore after dealing with this.
That's fine. That's fair. So now I'm going to take a recess and I want to look at what the regulations say in your town, because you had asked Building and Zoning what would be the protocol. And what they said was that they are required to do load calculations. The word required is a very strong word. So I want to check and see if that's actually in a regulation. Game over if it is, in your favor, but it may not be.
I understand.
It may just be protocol. and you have a little problem. Okay, what did you want to say before I get off the bench?
Yes, ma'am. And another part of that was that doing these back and forth, he became very offensive, very aggressive. It became like a hostile thing.
Okay, so we shouldn't put you two in contact with each other again.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes, of course.
I'm a reasonable guy. At the end of the day, I just wanted to pay what I would have paid if the job was done correctly.
Yeah, but both of you claim to have been reasonable in your offer to settle, and that didn't happen, which means I now just have to call the balls and strikes. That's how it works. Okay?
So, would you ever hire an unlicensed contractor to install a heating and air conditioning unit in your home?
If the price was right.
Well, it's always going to be better. You know that.
Yeah. But if I get a referral and I call it the referral and said they did good work, then I'd go with them.
Everybody agree with that?
No, I wouldn't do it.
Why?
I wouldn't do it because if this person made a mistake or somehow I got injured, I wouldn't have any recourse.
Oh, you are so smart.
If he burns your house down, your insurance is no good.
You know what? Insurance is a big issue too. Sorry, dude. Going inside the courtroom.
Okay. Feeling lucky?
Kinda.
Kinda? All right.
I got two more.
No, you don't.
Okay.
No, you don't.
All right.
Okay, so in the Florida Building Code, what it says is mandatory rules for heating and cooling equipment. Heating and cooling equipment shall be sized in accordance with ACCA Manual S based on the equipment loads calculated in accordance with Manual J. Bottom line is that there is a code in effect to make sure that there are calculations done in accordance with the latest load figures, and you didn't do it. I'm supposed to ignore that you didn't do the calculations? I'm not going to ignore it. What was the total that you paid him? Because you're sort of funny too. You're like, I'm suing for $5,000 because I want that to help me pay for a new air conditioner. But that's not how it works. What did you pay him?
I think it's
38,2007.
38,2007 total. Is that correct? Yes. 38,2007 is what this says. All right. I am going to order you to return 38,2007. That means that the unit belongs to him. How much time do you think you're going to need to hire someone else, get them in there, and switch out the units?
I'll try to do it within a month.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll facilitate it. The court will facilitate it so that you can get a phone call within a month that says the unit is ready for you to pick up. And then you two are in contact as little as possible, but then what I deem to be the right thing happens. All right, good luck, folks.
So the defendant, you did not do your calculations according to the latest load figures. What's your feeling on this outcome here because of that?
Just a lesson learned.
Yeah, what did you learn here from this?
Don't mess with friends.
Don't mess with friends. That's it.
Don't mess with friends.
You're going to get that unit back. What are you going to do with it?
I'm going to take it and resell it.
Okay. All right. Right down this way. All right. Well, he says he tried to help you out as a friend, but what'd you learn from all this? Same lesson he learned?
Well, to pretty much just hire somebody who knows what they're doing, make sure they're licensed, and put in the correct size unit.
You looking forward to getting cooled off?
I am very much looking forward to that. I'm just tired of basically cooking in my house.
Yeah, okay. Harvey?
I got to tell you something. This guy is so right. You do lose a lot of rights if it's not a licensed contractor. And one of the things is that when they're licensed, they have a duty to be bonded, which means if they screw up, you can use that bond to help correct the damage that the contractor does. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.